Welcome to the latest edition of the LL Basketball Roundtable, brought to you by, that's right, Student Transportation of America. My name is Mike Gross, and I'm hosting. Jason Guarente is to my left, and Jeff Reinhardt is to my right. These guys cover high school basketball in the Lancaster-Lebanon League for LNP, LancasterOnline.com. And last week we kind of talked about the district power rankings, even though it's probably too early to do that. This week, we're going to get into the section races because a lot of goofy things have happened lately. And those races are, I can't say they're starting to take shape because they're pretty misshapen, but they're interesting. So let's go section one first this time.
Sure.
Jeffrey.
Section one girls. Okay, coming into focus a little bit. There were some really big games the last couple of days. Lebanon out front. They beat Manheim Township on Saturday night. That was cool. A Saturday section game. They beat Township, pulled away late. Kyla Correa made some crazy plays. Lebanon beats Township, takes over sole possession of first place. Township dipped into a second place tie with Hempfield. Hempfield Township, Tuesday, the quintessential rivalry. Township wins in overtime, 49-46. Township takes over sole possession of second place. So now Hempfield's looking up at two teams, and the Black Knights are bubblish for districts, so they got to pick it up late here. But it's Lebanon and Township now. Lebanon has the one loss to Township back in December.
Young Miss Correa has been a good player for 3 years, but lately, as a scorer at 5'3" or whatever she is, it's going to another level.
She took over in the Township game Saturday night. Township had a 3-point lead early fourth. Correa gets a 3 to tie it, gets a pull-up jumper in the lane to take the lead, steals the inbound, hits a layup, and Lebanon was on its way. Earlier this week, she scored 42 in a win against McCaskey. 42, 5 threes. She had 41 in a game as a freshman. Hello, I had to go back and look that up. So a career high 42 for Correa. Her last 9 or 10 games, she's been at 20 plus. Yeah. She's really taken over.
Something else.
And
she's really a point guard. She's a true point guard. She's doing this scoring stuff despite that. Yeah.
Yes.
What a player.
She's fantastic. Yeah, on pace for 2,000. She'll get it probably early next year.
Section one, the last couple of days have been dense with activity.
Yes.
Good luck.
A magical night at Penn Manor last night. The Comets, who got mercy ruled by Cedar Crest when they played at Cedar Crest the first time, beat Cedar Crest by 16 points in the rematch. Ethan Benny didn't play in the first game, obviously. He played in the second. He scored his 1,000th point in the third quarter. And there are things in sports you cannot measure. You know, the emotion of that milestone, the affection that his teammates have for him, the excitement of the gym, a 20-2 run by Penn Manor in the fourth quarter, and they win a game that most people didn't think they could win. So now the race gets interesting. Cedar Crest is still almost certainly going to win the section. They have one loss. Hempfield's in second with 2, and Cedar Crest has the tiebreaker. But for second place, now it's down to probably Hempfield and who play at Millersville Friday. If Hempfield wins that game, it's basically over. Hempfield's going to finish second at the worst and make the playoffs. If Penn Manor wins that game, they're even in the loss column. They've split their head-to-head meetings, and it'll come down to if somebody trips up down the stretch or power rating. So as great as that win was for Penn Manor, and it's one of the highlights of the season, Penn Manor has to win Friday to stay in the LL playoff.
And talking about those things in sports that you can't measure, if you want to get a taste of that, read this guy's story on the Cedar Crest Penn Manor game. It's good stuff. Good stuff. All right, section two.
Section 2, a bit of a facelift here early in the week. Effort is still out front. They're 6-0, playing really well. Manheim Central still alone in second place, but the Barons lost to Conestoga Valley on Tuesday night. Bucks pulled one out, played a great fourth quarter.
They have 2 losses, Central?
Central is 6-2, so they're still in second, but now CV's just a game behind Central. And the Bucks did Ephrata a huge favor by beating Manheim Central, so Ephrata is now 2 clear in the race.
So that's a little similar to what we were just talking about in section 1.
Yes, and Central Ephrata will play next week, I think next Thursday at Ephrata. So we'll see if the Barons can kind of get there and see if somebody can knock off Ephrata here in the meantime. But those Ephrata and Central are still in the driver's seat for the playoff spots, with CV's making life tough here for the Barons. That was a good game Tuesday night.
Section 2 in the boys' side is up for grabs, right?
Well, first place isn't. Warwick's 7-0. Warwick's in good shape.
Oh, wow.
I mean, unless they trip up.
After starting very slowly.
But they've been great in league play, and they have lopsided wins over Garden Spot and Mannheim Central recently. So they're really, and Ephrata, all three contenders. So they look like the team that's going to win. But second place is a mess. I mean, you have Central 6-2, and they've been a little iffy lately. They had a tough one with Elizabethtown this week. And then you have Ephrata's 4-2, so they have 2 games they have to make up to catch up to Mannheim. Ephrata beat Mannheim earlier this season. And Garden Spot is 1 back in the loss column with Mannheim Central coming to New Holland on Thursday. So if Garden Spot can beat Mannheim Central, they can get into that mix as well. And Garden Spot just beat Ephrata, so it's kind of a 3-team race for 1 spot. Yeah. Mannheim Central's in the best position because it has the most wins right now and the best power rating right now.
And remember, these second place finishers in these sections, that's a big deal because you get in the league playoff, and we love the league playoffs.
Oh, great week. One of the best weeks of the year.
Section 3, Jeffrey.
Section 3, Lancaster Catholic out front, 7-0. Crusaders are playing really well. Their only loss was to Cardinal O'Hara.
I picked them to win that section.
So did I. I stepped out on a limb.
No, I'm saying right now. I'm picking them.
Oh, right now, yeah, They still have to play Northern Lebanon again. Vikings are 5-1.
And they beat them by 40 the first time.
They mercy ruled them in Fredericksburg. That second time they play is next week. I want to say February 2nd, maybe. There's a lot of big games on February 2nd, by the way. Let's mention Riley Kraft, senior at Lancaster Catholic, needs 4 points for 1,000. Catholic plays Thursday night against Central York, which is an interesting non-league game. Central York's tough in 6A.
Crusaders do schedule up out of the league.
Oh, their non-league has been all the way. Well, they added a game. Let's mention it quick. They're playing Springford, District 1 6A Power on Sunday down in Royersford. So that's a fun game. I'm going to check that out. So we'll see if Riley Kraft can get 4 on Thursday. I think she can probably do it. She'll join the 1,000-point club.
Yeah.
Catholic 76 now, 76 section wins in a row, dating back to 2017. That's pretty good.
Decent.
It's pretty good.
That's respectable.
Not bad.
All right, Jason, you're up. Section 3.
Octorara, undefeated, first place. They
bad.
have 2 games in the loss column over everybody, so they're in great shape. But they're not a lock to win the section. LS got tripped up by Donegal at Mount Joy this week. That was a big upset. Donegal was really scuffling. They lost 4 in a row, a couple 30-point losses, and then John Zell Moran hits a buzzer beater. All of a sudden, LS has 2 losses in the league, and now they need Octorara to trip up to have a shot to catch them. And then the third place team right now is Cocalico, which has 3 losses and is 1 behind LS in the loss column. But Cocalico hasn't been able to beat the top 2 teams yet. The Eagles will have to find a way to do that to crack into the top 2. The section's really interesting after the top 2. All 4 teams below them are really good. Like Lancaster Catholic's pretty good, Donegal's pretty good. They're good enough to pull off an upset on a given night. So we may see another surprise along the way, like the Donegal LS game.
I think LS sort of exemplifies our boys' league this year. Really high highs and really low lows. Interesting. Okay, let's go.
Section 4 girls. Okay, Columbia's still out front, tied 6-0 at midweek. Pequay Valley 6-1. Their lone losses to Columbia. That's their only loss this season. Pequay Valley girls are flying along here. Yeah, they've been really good. Columbia at Pequay Valley on February 2nd. Circle it. Columbia has had the funkiest season scheduling wise. They didn't start their season until December 8th, a week in. They've had stretches where they haven't played in 8 days, 6 days, and 5 days. Next week, they have a clip where they play 4 nights in a row, have a day off, and then play back-to-back nights. So Columbia's going to be playing a ton of basketball.
And their performance has been erratic, too.
A little bit. They have the 4 losses.
Even with some of the wins that they've had.
Yeah, they're going to find it here really quick. They're going to take off. Let's mention Bree Draghi, senior, 1,902 points. She went into the 1,900-point club on Tuesday, 11th player in LL history to hit that number. She needs 36.
11th girls?
11th girls player to hit 1900. She needs 36 to bounce into the top 10. 98 for 2000. So that's a couple of weeks, somewhere in that clip where they're playing all those nights in a row.
That's phenomenal.
She'll get it, and then she'd only be the 9th girls player.
Now, how does she compare to Mom? I'm sorry,
Margie.
big guy. I'm sorry.
Margie and Kiki. We know them by their first names around here.
I mean, Margie has 26.
2573.
Well, okay. That was a pretty good estimate on my part.
And when she was done, she was the District 3 leading girl scorer for
that's right.
years.
I remember that. Yeah.
So Bree needs 600 plus to catch her mom. That's probably not going to happen. They'd have to like play all the way to the end, and she'd have to average 30 a game or something crazy.
So Mom has trash talking.
I would think.
Going forward.
Yeah, those backyard, shooting hoops in the yard.
I like it.
Clashes with the Dragies must be really interesting. So, Bree, 1900 and counting.
All right, Jason, section 4.
We're still waiting for Mennonite and Columbia to play
They
each
haven't
other.
played yet?
No, it was supposed to be Friday. It got snowed out. The first meeting is tonight.
It's tonight, yeah.
All right.
That's when we'll find out, the first installment of who's first and who's second. They're both going to make the league playoffs. Section 2 plays Section 4, so Warwick and whoever finishes second will play Mennonite and Columbia in the first round. In contrasting styles, right? Sports writer term.
There you go. Yeah.
Mennonite undersized plays, or Columbia undersized plays fast, has the 3 seniors, Artie Poindexter, Braylon Miller, and Jordan Poole, who've been there forever, who've won district championships. And Mennonite is built around sophomores, Cody Fisher and Chase Hurst. So a lot more experience for Columbia, but Mennonite's really talented and still the defending state champs, so you don't count out the Blazers.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting game because I think Mennonite has been a little better, but those kids that have been around and are tough kids for Columbia, that'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting one to watch.
Wow.
All right, let's close up here with what's ahead, milestones, anything in that realm.
Yes. No huge games here the rest of the week for the girls. As a matter of fact, there's only 2 games on Wednesday night, and there's no showdown 1 versus 2 games the rest of the week. Let's mention a video piece we have coming up on the girls' side. We're doing the companion pieces for the roundtable.
Nice.
Bella Stern. Where do you see this one? This kid is fascinating. She's got some health issues, some health ailments that she's dealing with, some tricky ones too, but plays basketball, plays softball, trying to get through the winter here. She's had some flare-ups and ailments. It's keeping her off the court, but a really neat kid, and she's trying like heck to play sports despite some of the things that she's dealing with. That video should be out here by the end of the week.
Yeah, look for that on Lancaster Online.
Lancaster Online. Take a look.
Jason.
Well, the biggest game is probably Hempfield and Penn Manor Friday night. Northern Lebanon plays Elko, which is
That's interesting.
Dallas George. He's the Elko's best player.
That used to be, maybe it still is, a really good rivalry game. Back in the day when I was covering those teams.
Yeah, well, right now you have Dallas George, who's maybe Elko's best player, and Chris George is Northern Lebanon's coach, and they've been going at it for the duration of their careers. And this will be the last time it happens, which I'm sure will be emotional for them. It's a rare thing to coach against your son. And there was a video that was posted on LancasterOnline.com last week on the Neff family. 5 siblings who play at Peckway Valley boys and girls basketball. The 5th is Jackson Neff, who's a senior and their leading scorer right now. Nice. And there is a 6th on the way in 7th grade. So the Neff family tradition is ongoing.
So again, look for that video stuff on LancasterOnline.com. In addition to box scores, schedules, statistics, standings, all that stuff. There's a lot going on our website, folks, and it's pretty cheap. Check it out.
Considering, yeah.
If you're not already a subscriber, check it out. All right, gang. I'll stop selling things now.
There you go.
You have been listening to the LL Basketball Roundtable, brought to you by Student Transportation of America. For Jason Guarente, for Jeffrey Reinhardt, for Mike Gross, see ya.